on this day, the 17th of January, 1342, the birth of Philip the Bold, Duke of Burgundy. Philip was the fourth son of King John II of France. John's reign had seen a series of catastrophes for France, from the decimation of the Black Death to popular revolts and English aggression that had led to John's capture by the English at the Battle of Poitiers, along with his second son, Louis, Duke of Anjou. John died in England in 1364 after surrendering himself back into English custody, in part because he was in arrears with his ransom, but also because he felt dishonoured when his son Louis had escaped. John's oldest son became King Charles V. Philip had been created Duke of Burgundy in 1363, the year before his father's death. In 1369, Philip married Margaret of Dampierre, daughter of Louis, Count of Flanders. He'd go on to help his father-in-law respond to revolts in Flanders that persisted until Louis's death, when Philip added territories around Ghent and Ypres to his holdings. In 1390, he would also become Count of Charolais, a title used by future heirs to the Duchy of Burgundy. Philip's brother Charles V died in 1380, leaving his 11-year-old son to succeed him as King Charles VI. A regency council made up of the king's 3 paternal uncles and 1 maternal uncle ruled, but the other interests of Philip's brothers and the ineffectual nature of the Dowager Queen's brother meant that Philip played the leading role until 1388, when Charles came of age. In 1392, Charles began to be affected by the mental illness that would plague him for the rest of his life. Philip, who was present at his first breakdown, immediately assumed full authority in France and dismissed many of Charles's advisers. His prominence was resented by the king's brother, Louis, Duke of Orleans, who felt that he had a better right to act as his brother's regent. Philip spent 10 years in control of France before Charles was stirred to appoint his brother Louis as regent instead. Louis's rule lasted from 1402 to 1404 and proved so disastrous that Philip was back in control in 1404, just before he died on the 27th of April. He was buried in a magnificent tomb at Chartreuse de Chaumont near Dijon, where he had planned a mausoleum for his dynasty. In 1792, the tomb was moved to Dijon Cathedral, only to be damaged by revolutionaries the next year. It was restored and now stands in a former ducal palace that operates as a museum in Dijon. Philip was a huge political figure in his lifetime. Perhaps his greatest contribution to France, though, was the problems bequeathed by the feud between the royal houses of Burgundy and Orleans that began during his time as Duke, but would tear France apart during the decades that followed, almost leading to an English conquest.